The moment their eyes met across the crowded restaurant, time seemed to stand still. He was clearly in the wrong place, wearing a faded button-up shirt with a small coffee stain he'd frantically tried to rub out in the restaurant bathroom. She was dressed impeccably in a tailored suit worth more than his monthly rent. Neither of them could have predicted how this mistake would change both their lives forever. If you're enjoying tales that remind us how life's biggest mistakes sometimes lead to our greatest blessings. Jack Murphy wiped his sweaty palms on his worn jeans as he entered Lumiere, the most exclusive restaurant in the city. The hostess eyed him suspiciously, taking in his slightly rumpled appearance and the nervous way he kept checking his watch. "Reservation name?" she asked, her perfectly manicured nail hovering over the tablet. Blind date setup. The reservation should be under Michelle?" Jack said, his voice betraying his uncertainty. The hostess scanned her screen. "Yes, table 14. Your date is already seated." Jack nodded gratefully and made his way through the dimly lit restaurant, feeling painfully out of place among the well-heeled diners. He'd spent his last bit of disposable income on the babysitter tonight. After 3 years of raising his daughter alone following his wife's death, his friends had finally convinced him it was time to try dating again. He spotted table 14 and approached it hesitantly. Seated there was a striking woman with dark hair pulled back in a sleek bun, studying something on her tablet with intense focus. She didn't look up as he approached. "Michelle?" he asked tentatively. The woman glanced up, her piercing blue eyes meeting his. For a split second, something flashed across her face, surprise, confusion, perhaps even disappointment, before her expression settled into a cool, professional mask. "Yes," she said simply, setting down her tablet. Jack slid into the seat across from her, unaware that at that very moment, the real Michelle, a kindergarten teacher his friend had set him up with, was sitting alone at table 40, not 14. Alexandra Chen, CEO of Horizon Technologies and one of the wealthiest women in the country, had been waiting for her blind date, a merger and acquisition lawyer her assistant had insisted would be perfect for her. She'd reluctantly agreed to the setup, mostly to stop her staff's constant worrying about her workaholic lifestyle. When she saw Jack approach, she immediately knew something was wrong. This man was not the polished corporate attorney she'd been expecting. But something in his warm brown eyes and genuine smile made her hesitate before pointing out the mistake. "So," Jack began nervously, "my friend Tina says you're a teacher too?" Alexandra blinked, then made a split-second decision. "Not exactly," she said carefully. "I work in technology." "That's cool," Jack said, his smile widening. "I'm actually pretty hopeless with tech. My 8-year-old daughter has to help me with my phone half the time." "You have a daughter?" Alexandra asked, genuinely interested despite herself. "Lily. She's my whole world," Jack said, his eyes softening as he pulled out his phone to show a photo of a gap-toothed little girl with pigtails. "It's just been the two of us since my wife passed away 3 years ago." Alexandra felt something shift inside her. In her world of corporate sharks and power plays, such unguarded sincerity was rare. Before she could respond, the waiter appeared to take their orders. Jack scanned the menu, his eyes widening slightly at the prices. Alexandra noticed his discomfort and smoothly suggested, "The chef's tasting menu is excellent here. Would you mind if I ordered for us both?" Relief washed over Jack's face. "That would be great, thanks." As the evening progressed, Alexandra found herself increasingly charmed by Jack's unpretentious nature. He told her about his job as a high school history teacher, his volunteer work at the local community center, and most of all, about Lily, her love of dinosaurs, her struggle with math, and her boundless creativity. "Sorry," he said after a particularly long story about Lily's school play. "I'm probably boring you. Tina warned me not to talk about Lily the whole time." "Not at all," Alexandra said truthfully. "She sounds wonderful." Jack smiled gratefully. "What about you? What kind of technology do you work with?" Alexandra hesitated. She was used to people treating her differently once they knew who she was. "I work for a company that develops AI solutions," she said vaguely. "That sounds complicated," Jack laughed. "The most advanced technology one deal with is trying to keep 30 teenagers off their phones during class." Alexandra found herself laughing, genuinely laughing, for the first time in months. There was something refreshing about Jack's lack of pretension, his obvious dedication to his daughter and his students. As they finished their dessert, Jack excused himself to use the restroom. Alexandra's phone buzzed with a message from her assistant. "How's the date with Richard going?" Reality crashed back. This wasn't her date. This man had no idea who she really was. And somewhere in this restaurant, both their actual blind dates were probably wondering what had happened. When Jack returned, Alexandra knew she should come clean. But before she could speak, he said, "I should probably get going soon. The babysitter charges extra after 10, and on a teacher's salary." He trailed off with a self-deprecating smile. "Of course," Alexandra said, signaling for the check. When it arrived, Jack reached for it, but Alexandra was faster. "Please, let me. I insist." Jack looked uncomfortable. "That's really nice, but I can't let you do that. Consider it my treat." "I enjoyed our conversation," Alexandra said firmly. After a moment's hesitation, Jack relented. "Thank you. That's very generous." As they walked out of the restaurant together, Alexandra found herself reluctant to end the evening. "Would you like to share a cab?" she offered. "Actually, I'm taking the subway," Jack said. "But thank you for a lovely evening, Michelle. I'd really like to see you again." Alexandra felt a pang of guilt at the deception. "Jack, there's something I need to tell you." But at that moment, a sleek black car pulled up to the curb, and the driver stepped out. "Ms. Chen, your car is ready." Jack's expression shifted from confusion to realization. "Chen? As in Alexandra Chen? Of Horizon Technologies?" Alexandra nodded, watching as comprehension dawned on his face. "You're not Michelle," he said slowly. "And I'm guessing you weren't waiting for a high school history teacher tonight." "No," Alexandra admitted. "There was a mix-up with the table numbers. I should have said something earlier, but—" "I should go," Jack interrupted, his face flushed with embarrassment. "I'm sorry for wasting your time." Before Alexandra could respond, he turned and walked quickly away, disappearing into the night. The next morning, Jack was helping Lily get ready for school, trying to push thoughts of the previous night's humiliation from his mind. "Did you have fun on your date, Daddy?" Lily asked as she munched her cereal. "It was a mix-up, sweetie," Jack said, forcing a smile. "I met someone nice, but it wasn't actually a date." "Was she pretty?" Lily persisted. Jack thought of Alexandra's intelligent eyes and the rare, genuine smile that had transformed her face when she laughed. "Yes, she was very pretty. And very important, way too important for someone like me." The doorbell rang, interrupting their conversation. Jack opened it to find a courier holding an elaborate bouquet of flowers. "Jack Murphy?" the courier asked. "That's me," Jack said, confused. "These are for you." The courier handed him the flowers and an envelope before departing. Jack opened the envelope with Lily peering curiously over his arm. "Dear Jack," the note read. "I apologize for the misunderstanding last night, but I'm not sorry it happened. I haven't enjoyed a conversation that much in years. If you're willing, I'd like to take you and Lily to the Natural History Museum this weekend. I hear they have an excellent dinosaur exhibit. No pressure, no expectations. Just a thank you for reminding me there's more to life than boardrooms and balance sheets. Alexandra." At the bottom was her personal phone number. "Who's Alexandra, Daddy?" Lily asked. "And how does she know I like dinosaurs?" Jack stared at the note, a slow smile spreading across his face. Someone I'd like you to meet, sweetheart. Over the next few weeks, Alexandra found herself drawn deeper into Jack and Lily's world. She joined them for pizza nights and helped Lily with her math homework. She attended Lily's soccer games, cheering louder than anyone when the little girl scored a goal. For Jack, the relationship developed with equal parts wonder and trepidation. Alexandra's world was so different from his own. The first time her driver dropped them off at his modest apartment, he'd been acutely aware of the peeling paint in the hallway and the second-hand furniture. I'm sorry, it's not much, he'd said awkwardly. Alexandra had looked around the space, at the walls covered with Lily's artwork, the bookshelves overflowing with well-loved volumes, the photos of Jack's late wife displayed prominently, and said simply, "It's a home. A real one." Their worlds collided in unexpected ways. Jack found himself attending charity galas as Alexandra's date, feeling out of place but proud to be by her side. Alexandra discovered the joy of Sunday morning pancakes and impromptu dance parties in Jack's small living room. But not everything was smooth sailing. The tabloids eventually caught wind of their relationship, and the headlines were brutal: "Billionaire's charity case," "Chen dating penniless teacher," and "What does he want from her?" Jack saw the headlines while in line at the grocery store, Lily's small hand in his. He'd quickly steered her away, but the damage was done. That night, after Lily was asleep, he called Alexandra. "Maybe this isn't going to work," he said quietly. "Our worlds are too different." "Jack," Alexandra began. "I don't want Lily exposed to that kind of scrutiny. And I don't want to be the reason your board of directors loses confidence in you." "Are you finished?" Alexandra asked when he paused for breath. "Yes," Jack said, deflating slightly. "Good. Because I'm not letting you end this over some tabloid garbage. My board respects me because I've tripled company profits, not because of who I date. And as for Lily, we'll protect her together. But don't you dare use her as an excuse because you're scared." "Scared of what?" Jack challenged. "Of being happy again," Alexandra said softly. "Of letting someone else into the life you've built with Lily." "I understand, Jack. I'm scared too. Do you think it's easy for me to trust someone when half the people I meet only see dollar signs when they look at me?" The line went quiet for a long moment. "I'm sorry," Jack finally said. "You're right. I am scared. But not of being happy, of losing it again. Of losing you." "You won't lose me," Alexandra promised. "Not unless you push me away." 6 months after their accidental first meeting, Alexandra invited Jack and Lily to her home for the first time. As they pulled up to the massive estate, Lily's eyes widened. "You live in a castle?" she gasped. Alexandra laughed. "Not quite a castle, but it is too big for one person. That's actually why I wanted to bring you both here today. I have something important to ask you." She led them through the house to the backyard, where a picnic had been set up beneath a large oak tree. After they'd eaten, Alexandra took a deep breath. "Lily, I wanted to ask how you would feel if I became a bigger part of your and your dad's life." Lily looked thoughtful. "Like moving into our apartment?" "It's pretty small." Alexandra smiled. "Actually, I was thinking maybe you and your dad might consider moving here. There's plenty of room, and the school district is excellent." Jack stared at her, speechless. "But only if that's something you both want," Alexandra added quickly. "I know it's a big step. Are you asking us to marry you?" Lily asked bluntly. Alexandra laughed, but her eyes were serious as she looked at Jack. "Not exactly. Not yet. But I am asking if we can start building a life together." Jack took her hand. "Alexandra, we can't just move in here. This isn't our world." "Then we'll create a new world," she said simply. "One that belongs to all of us." "I like that idea," Lily declared. "And Daddy does too." He told Mrs. Rodriguez next door that he loves you but doesn't know how to fit into your fancy life. Lily! Jack exclaimed, his face reddening. Alexandra squeezed his hand. You don't have to fit into my life, Jack. We'll build something new together. Something that honors what you had with Sarah, that puts Lily first, and that lets us both be who we really are. Jack looked at her for a long moment, then at Lily, who was nodding enthusiastically. Okay, he said finally. Let's build something new. Together. 1 year to the day after they'd met, Jack and Alexandra returned to Lumiere. This time, Jack wore a new suit, though he'd refused to let Alexandra buy it for him, insisting on paying himself. This time, they were seated at the correct table, table 14, which Alexandra had specifically requested. Happy anniversary, Alexandra said, raising her glass. Happy anniversary, Jack echoed. Though technically, it's the anniversary of our non-date. Alexandra smiled. Best mistake I ever made. Mine too, Jack agreed. Though I'm still not entirely convinced it was a mistake. Table 14 instead of 40? That's an awfully convenient error. Are you suggesting I engineered our meeting? Alexandra asked, amused. That I somehow knew you'd be there and bribed the hostess to send you to my table? Did you? Jack challenged. Alexandra laughed. I'm good, but I'm not that good. Some things even a billionaire CEO can't arrange. Like falling in love with a high school teacher with a dinosaur-obsessed 8-year-old? Exactly like that, Alexandra agreed. Though she's 9 now, and currently more interested in space than dinosaurs. Thanks to the telescope you bought her, Jack pointed out. Our daughter deserves the best, Alexandra said simply. Jack's eyes softened at her words. Our daughter, he repeated. I like the sound of that. So do I, Alexandra said. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small box, sliding it across the table to Jack. He opened it to find a key. What's this? A key to our new home, Alexandra said. Not my mansion, not your apartment. A new place, for our new beginning. It has a yard for Lily, an office for you, and it's close enough to both our workplaces. Jack stared at the key, then at Alexandra. You bought us a house? I bought us a home, she corrected. If you want it. Jack closed his hand around the key. On one condition. Name it, Alexandra said. Jack reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box of his own. That you'll marry me. Not because it makes sense on paper, not because it's the logical next step, but because somehow, against all odds, a poor single dad and a billionaire CEO found something real. Alexandra's eyes filled with tears as Jack opened the box to reveal a simple but elegant diamond ring. I saved for months, he said quietly. I wanted to buy it myself. Yes, Alexandra whispered, holding out her hand. Yes, I'll marry you. As Jack slipped the ring onto her finger, neither of them noticed the hostess smiling knowingly from across the restaurant. Some mistakes, after all, were meant to happen. The wedding was small and intimate, held in the backyard of their new home. Lily served as both flower girl and ring bearer, proudly walking down the makeshift aisle in a dress she and Alexandra had picked out together. Jack's students formed an impromptu choir, singing as Alexandra walked toward him in a simple white dress. Her board members sat alongside Jack's fellow teachers, the unlikely mixture of guests a perfect representation of their blended lives. When it came time for vows, Jack spoke first. Alexandra, when I walked into that restaurant a year and a half ago, I was just a man trying to move forward, trying to be enough for my daughter. I never expected to find someone who would see past my worn shoes and teacher's salary to the man beneath. You didn't just accept me, you celebrated me. You didn't try to change my life, you enhanced it. You became Lily's friend before you tried to be her parent. And you showed me that love doesn't have to be either/or, that Lily and I could honor Sarah's memory while still building a new future. I promise to stand beside you as